August 26, 2017, Floyd Money Mayweather defeated Conor McGregor via TKO in the 10th round. Well, recently, Conor McGregor has been offered a king's ransom for the rematch. Only thing is, Dana White has little to no interest in the fight. Will that stop the fight from happening? I'm going to discuss that and more right now. Roll the intro. All right, guys. Welcome back to Championship Rounds. This is Champ Chat 5. And the subject matter today is the rumored and highly talked about rematch between Floyd Money Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
The notorious Conor McGregor!
The notorious Conor McGregor. As always, guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a drop. All right, we're just going to jump right into this thing. Floyd Mayweather has made an enormous offer to Conor McGregor for the rematch of their fight that took place August 26th of 2017. That offer is $157 million. The official offer is 157.9. The point is, this offer dwarfs Conor's disclosed purse for his entire MMA career. It's money that you can't pass up. I'm sure you could pass it up if you're Conor McGregor, who has plenty of money, but Conor loves money. And why would he be in a rush to get back into the cage, the UFC octagon, and fight a man for a small fraction of this offer? It just wouldn't make sense, would it? Conor is the highest paid fighter in the sport. But Conor likes to elevate. Every fight needs to be larger. And I'm sure his purse has risen every fight in the UFC. But the elephant is in the room, is the $100 million, give or take, or whatever it ended up being, that he made in the Floyd Mayweather fight the first time. And now he's looking to make more. He's lost 2 fights to Dustin Poirier. He was tapped by Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he did defeat Cowboy Cerrone. So Conor McGregor is 1-3 since the last Floyd Mayweather fight. He was riding high off of becoming the first simultaneous champ in the promotion's history before the bout took place. Conor McGregor has just a few demands for this fight to take place. 3 to be exact. The first being the weight. Their first bout took place at 149.5 pounds, give or take. This fight, Conor wants to take place at 155 pounds. Yes, the weight of the UFC's lightweight division. His second demand is he wants Floyd's legacy to be on the line. He doesn't want this to be an exhibition. He wants this to be an official boxing bout. And that's probably why Floyd Mayweather has came out to the media and said that he's coming out of retirement and he's going to give it another shot. Probably because of this fight. There's no other reason why he would do that. The man is making plenty of money fighting exhibitions against YouTubers and whomever can fit the bill. All right? And the third demand that Conor has made, 10 rounds. Yes, 10-round bout. The first bout, 12 rounds. Well, Conor McGregor was stopped in the 10th round. What's the significance of that? Well, Conor McGregor said that he believes the fight was stopped because of his fatigue and that he wasn't really hurt. But if you really watch that fight, when the fight was stopped, you can't really argue with the stoppage. You can, but the fight's over. Floyd was throwing shot after shot. He must have thrown like 15 to 20 shots at Conor, and Conor didn't return fire not one time. So the referee stopped the fight. because Conor was taking tough, hard blows. I mean, you have to be intelligently defending yourself, and you have to be firing back. Okay? Show them that you're still in the fight. And he didn't. And that's why they stepped in. Dana White is not on board with this fight.
He seems to have accepted the rematch on social media with Floyd Mayweather. Anything to that, or is that just people talking?
That's definitely people talking. I have less than zero interest in seeing that again.
Is the last we talked to you, you said that Conor and Michael Chandler make sense. Does that still make sense to you?
Yeah, I like that fight.
No. And I believe, I'm just going to give you the reasons why I believe he's not on board with this fight. One being the ESPN deal. Conor McGregor is the sport's biggest star, by far. So, don't you think that WME, IMG, or whatever, Endeavor, as well as ESPN, would like to have their biggest star back on their platform? I believe so, because if they do this fight with Floyd Mayweather, we know it's going to take place with Showtime.
And while we're at it, fuck Showtime too! You little weasel! Look at you, you little fucking weasel! I can see it in your eyes! You're a fucking bitch!
With Steven Espinoza.
Steven Espinoza tweeted that you guys have a clause in your contract that could take the fighter's purse away if they say something negative about the company. I just wanted to give you a chance to respond to that.
That's not true. First of all, there's something in the contract for disparagement.
Right.
There's a disparagement clause in there that's in all of our contracts. Isn't that creepy looking little fucker a lawyer? Isn't that creepy little fucking goofball a lawyer? Does he not know what disparagement means? If you disparage the company, I'm not even a fucking lawyer and I know the answer to that question. Yeah, it's disparagement. It'd be like if you came out and said, they never tested me. The UFC never tested me for the coronavirus. But if you came out and had something critical to say about the testing that was true, that wouldn't be disparagement.
Cool. Tonight it was announced that Amanda Nunes...
Fucking law school did he go to? I can't stand that fucking creep. Anyway, if you couldn't tell, go ahead.
Is that based from the Mayweather-McGregor stuff?
Is the what?
Do you dislike him because of Mayweather-McGregor and the interactions you had?
He's just a fucking... Look at him. The creepy little dude.
Amanda Nunes versus Felicia Spencer.
What the fuck does he know about our contracts?
And Dana isn't too keen with working with Espinoza again. He even came out and said that he'll never work with Showtime and Espinoza again. So, with that being said, ESPN and Showtime have to play a factor here. And next, the Francis Ngannou deal. Francis Ngannou wants to box Tyson Fury. If Conor McGregor gets to box Floyd Mayweather, don't you think your underpaid heavyweight champion of the world, the baddest man on the planet, is probably going to walk? I'm thinking so. So, with that being said, you know, when the first Conor McGregor fight happened, the only other boxing match on the table was Anderson Silva versus Roy Jones Jr. Again, if Conor McGregor gets this fight, it could, play a major factor in the signing or not re-signing of the heavyweight champion, the Predator, Francis Ngannou. At the end of the day, Dana White wants Conor McGregor in the UFC because if Conor McGregor takes this fight and he makes $157.9 million, why the hell would he fight in the UFC again? Are we supposed to believe, oh, Conor just loves the sport, he loves the game? I'm sure he does. But is the hunger still there? Is the hunger still there? I'm sure the desire is still there, but is the hunger? Marvin Hagler. It's hard to wake up and run those miles and do those tough training camps when you're waking up in satin sheets. I think that plays a factor here. Because Conor McGregor realized the biggest fight purse of his life. A life-changing fight purse against Floyd Mayweather. And has he been the same fighter since? I'm going to say no. He's lost twice to a guy he knocked out in the first round. He beat Cowboy Cerrone, whom had little to nothing left in the tank and didn't even show up for that fight. And he was not choked. He was submitted via neck crank by Khabib Nurmagomedov. And you're supposed to believe this guy's still hungry? It's definitely not showing. Why would people watch this fight? Because they will watch this fight. You know, the hardcore MMA and boxing fans, I'm both of those, we're going to show up either way. We might have our reservations. We might not like, on the MMA side, we might want Conor to focus more on MMA because him going over to boxing was the start of his MMA downfall. And on the boxing side, the reservations might be, hey, the first fight was a sham, and this one is too. What, Floyd Mayweather is going to get to 51-0? You know, one better than Rocky Marciano by fighting an MMA fighter twice in a row, and we're supposed to just accept this? Well, you don't got a choice. Because if it's a sanctioned bout, then it counts. You can put an asterisk by it if you want, but the fight's going to generate major revenue, and it's going to happen, you know, if this whole thing gets worked out with Dana. Because Dana is not on board, as I mentioned before. And he's telling everybody that'll listen that the fight is not happening, that these guys are just talking.
Second question for me, there's a lot of talk now ratcheting up between McGregor and Floyd Mayweather.
All bullshit. Those guys are just talking on social media like they do. The Daily Mirror, or whatever the hell that tabloid is called, is full of the shit.
What would it take for you to get involved in that conversation?
Dementia?
Anyhow, Floyd's age. Floyd pushed the narrative in the first fight that, hey, I'm not the same boxer I was X amount of years ago. And that's very true. Now even more time has passed. So he's older, obviously. Conor hasn't been looking any better in the cage, though. I think that would have helped this situation if Conor was still doing his thing and putting boys away inside the cage, but that just simply hasn't been the case. But still, the intrigue of Floyd's age is there. I mean, you got the exhibition with Logan Paul that went the distance. You got the exhibition that he did in Abu Dhabi. That was disgusting. The first fight, a fight that people said Conor McGregor won a lot of rounds based on the shots he landed. If you ask me, he had a couple good shots, an uppercut, but large in part, he had no pop on his strikes. I think he was mainly touching. He was just touching. He wasn't really throwing hard because I think there was the fear or the awareness of the counter strike coming back. So I just don't feel like he had any real pop in the fight. But he did land a good body shot on Floyd that kind of doubled him over with a little bit, but I don't know how much of that was acting. Anyhow, back to why this fight will sell. Tank Davis on the undercard. Imagine this. Top of the marquee. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor 2. Co-main event. Gervonta Tank Davis versus King Ryan Garcia. I mean, Tank Davis has already showed that he could sell on pay-per-view, and then you mix that with two of the biggest pay-per-view stars of all time, and you're definitely going to get a major blockbuster pay-per-view that's going to do numbers. Hate it or love it. And the promotion behind this. Do I think they're going to go and do a big tour again and go to New York and go across the pond and go to the Six? And no, I don't think they're going to do all that again. But there's going to be press conferences. This is assuming this fight happens because, again, Floyd offered $157 million. If Dana doesn't let this fight happen or pushes back if Conor really wants it to happen, man, this could cause some major problems in the UFC. And I say that because this ain't Nate Diaz we're talking about. This is the sport's biggest star. And you're going to tell him, no, you're not going to go over there and fight Floyd for $157 million. You're going to come over here and fight Michael Chandler for $2 million disclosed. Does that make sense? A boxing match versus an MMA match? Punches versus punches, kicks, elbows, knees, grappling, jiu-jitsu. Do I have to go on? Wrestling? Listen, it just wouldn't make sense. I think at the end of the day, Dana White's hands are going to be tied. Guys, do you think this fight's going to happen? $157 million for the rematch. Do you want it to happen? And if it does happen, who do you have winning? Might be a silly question to some, but let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. And until next time, guys, stay frosty.